Per the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about why maintaining God consciousness and keeping God in mind is an essential part of, one, becoming who you want to be, maintaining the vision of who you want to be, and two, achieving the form of success that you want to achieve. Now, success is a subjective thing. It's different from person to person. But whatever form of success, once you define it for yourself, you will be able to achieve if you maintain God consciousness. And you're able to hone in on what that vision even looks like for yourself through doing this as well. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. And just as a preface, I myself grew up as a Muslim, so I'm very familiar with the Abrahamic conception of God. And I'm speaking to people who believe in a creator and a God, in the concept of God, and how focusing on that foundational belief will allow you to achieve what you want in this lifetime that you have. Now, I'm going to be introducing some Eastern concepts in the video, just as a means of explaining some of these topics, and to make the explanation more palatable or just easy to digest. There are two modes of being. It's binary. You either function out of fear or love, right? And every belief system, every major belief system is founded on the basis that you make decisions out of love. And when you focus on something outside of yourself, right? When you're not focused on the self, when you're not narcissistic, you allow yourself to make decisions out of openness, out of love, instead of fear. Fear is founded on self-preservation. It is founded on yourself, your conception of self. So already we're starting off with the idea that you have two modes of being that are based off of, and I'm going to try to write on this while I speak in the video. It's going to be hard. Okay, I'm just going to say F and L because it's kind of hard to draw while filming. F and L, fear and love, right? Now, when you focus on love, when you focus on God, right? A power outside of yourself, an omnipotent, all-powerful creator, you instinctively focus on becoming a higher version of yourself at every decision point of your life. At every breath, at every decision point, you have two options of descending to a lower state of being or ascending to a higher state of being, right? And the time frame of this is, it's not bound by our perception of time, our understanding of time. It happens within our breaths, the seconds of our life, the minutes, hours, days, weeks, years, lifespan. If you want to go beyond that and believe in like Eastern philosophies and Eastern belief systems like reincarnation, beyond our lifespans even, right? But if we focus on decisions that are based on love and not fear, we continually trend upwards. We ascend. And this is kind of somewhat similar to the concept of samsara in Buddhism. We ascend, and with each ascension, we go back, right? We descend again. And this is a reoccurring cycle. It describes essentially samsara. Samsara. It describes the cycles of death, rebirth, creation, and death. And if you want to, be a little more descriptive with it, it is death, rebirth, creation, or just rebirth, death, and rebirth and death. It happens with each breath, with each exhale, we undergo that same pattern of death, rebirth with the inhale, and that extrapolates onto our minutes and days and weeks. We experience these cycles throughout seasons. It's cyclical. It's a pattern that happens in your life, and that if you wait for that cycle to run its course, that you will inevitably ascend if you focus on a higher being beyond yourself. And what happens within this transformation is that you inevitably experience a breakthrough, right? Where you gain the fruit of that transformation, of that ascension, and incremental descension with each ascension. And when that happens, you descend once more. It can seem at the moment like you're spiraling downwards, right? But you're really just experiencing the process. And when you do that, it can seem like you are going backwards, but really you are still beginning at a point that is higher than your initial point that you began with, that being your birth, or whatever point of rebirth that you are referencing. And with this, you then begin the process of ascension again. And you can notice with each spiral, it is a descent that you're experiencing in life, but you inevitably ascend again. Now, this happens once, twice, and then an infinite number of times. It happens throughout your lifespan until you die, right? It never ends. As long as you focus on decisions that are based on love and not fear, you will undergo this pattern. Now, what is the alternative to this? The alternative is to make decisions out of fear, right? That is to relinquish a belief in something outside of yourself to make things that you want come to fruition, or reliance on yourself and your own means, right? When you are incapable of surrendering to something greater and you cannot let go of that willingness to grasp onto your perception of control, you are holding on to fear and you're functioning off of fear, right? And what happens is that as things progress outside of you, you are this point, for example, as things progress outside of you, because the one constant in life is change. You are trying to progress and to make change within your own mechanisms, within your own tools, right? Resisting the flow of things. And you become stagnant. Stagnation while you breathe is essentially death. That's why when you are tightly bound to an idea or a goal that you want, but momentum isn't being made, you experience this physical sensation of lack of breath, shortness of breath. You are essentially restricting your flow, restricting your breathing, right? So this stagnation, this pool of stagnation that you self-impose, causes the experience, the near experience of hell on earth, hell while you are living. You're restricting the natural flow of things. Now, with every moment in your life, at every point in time, with every breath, you have the will and the opportunity to make a decision for yourself. And that decision can occur at any point. These are just little binary trees. 1, 2, 3, right? Now, with every point in time, you could make a decision out of love or fear, ascension or dissension. Now, you will undergo that pattern of transformation if you choose to function out of love, and you will stagnate and impose suffering if you go the other way. Now, obviously, or maybe it's not obvious, with every decision, you have another fork, another fractal that occurs that allows you to make another decision that is based out of love or out of fear, that goes down or up, right? But as long as you keep God consciousness, you keep a higher being in mind outside of yourself, and you allow surrender to occur, you will experience that pattern. And I'm going to talk more about this in another video with better quality, hopefully. This just touches the surface. Also, I can't emphasize enough how superficial and simple I'm being in explaining these topics, or my understanding of these topics in these videos. I'm using this as a test, a pilot, to see how the reception goes, to see if I want to make an entire series of it, because just the concept of following God, following something that is beyond yourself, will take hours to explain, to describe. And my description is going to be different from somebody else's description. But I'm very much so just talking about a specific component of this process in this video. And even just the idea of what it means to follow something that is beyond yourself, a greater entity, a greater thing that is beyond you, what that means, and how things like addiction is just a manifestation of self-obsession, focusing on the self too much, and how that manifests into addiction instead of focusing on things that are outside of you. But yeah, that's it for this one. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.